oh my gosh, keep on keeping on. It's a lot of stuff to keep straight, and I'm going to try my new medication today for the hyperadrenergic POTS, and I will cross my fingers that everything is good. Okay, so I have 2 updates. Yesterday was a crazy day. It was like medical day, oh my gosh, 5.0. So I had 5 medical appointments yesterday. So it started at 8:40. Oh, hold on, let me go back a minute. So I'm trying to leave. Traffic is awful in my town, which is ridiculous. And I decided to like use a side street to go, and a cop stopped me for blowing a stop sign, which I couldn't have blown because there was somebody in front of me. Anyways, he was super nice. We talked about it and whatever, and he was like, oh, I'm just gonna give you a warning, you know, like just be careful, you know, cutting down the side streets and whatever. And he was really nice about it, which put me even more behind, unfortunately. So I'd sent a message to my first appointment, told them I was gonna be a few minutes late, and they were totally fine. So get stopped by a cop. Then I had one appointment, which was GI, and I met a new nurse practitioner who was really nice. But they never seem confident in the things that they're telling you, which I have a really big problem with, because if you don't seem confident in my care, I'm not going to buy into it at all whatsoever. So we'll see how that works out. So my GI came in the middle. We talked about all the things, and I filled her in on all the details of what's going on the direct J tube surgery, and that I'm waiting on some answers from palliative care before we move forward with scheduling the J tube. And I was waiting on one more answer from my bariatric abdominal surgery guy to make sure I knew exactly what I'm going to be getting. So we're like ready to leave. I keep saying we. I guess it was me and my doctor. But I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I have something else I want to talk to you about. And I totally just remembered. I said, I'm so glad you're still here. And she was like, okay, what's going on? And she's like putting notes in the system and, you know, whatever. She had to do a refill for me. And I was like, I'm having trouble getting my pills down. And she literally stops what she's doing and turns around and looks at me. And she was like, what is going on? And I told her, it's just like stuff is getting stuck. Like it's getting stuck like right here. And sometimes I can feel like it's stuck here. And sometimes it's like right in the back of my throat it's getting stuck. And I said, I've never had trouble with it before. I can throw like a handful of pills in my mouth and it's no problem. And I said, I'm like choking on them lately. And I was like, I don't know if it's just the kind of pills that I have now or what's going on. And she was like, we need to do an endoscopy. And I was like, okay. Like I wasn't really expecting tests, I guess. I don't know. It was just a little odd. And she was like, and I need you to do this like swallow barium tablet thing called like a esophagram, which I'd never heard of before. And she said it like there's a dysmotility. Obviously, I mean, I have esophageal dysmotility, but I've never had this much trouble with it before. And so she was like, so we're going to do the esophagram first and see if we can tell like where things are getting stuck. And she's like, you know, I don't want your pills, you know, like burning through your esophagus. And I was like, well, neither do I. That sounds horrible. So anyway, so we're going to do that. And then she was like, do you care if one of my other doctors here does the endoscopy? She's like, are you going to be waiting months for me to be able to do it? And I was like, oh, it's fine, because I've had like 2 others do them before and they were totally fine with it. And so she was like, okay, so we got those 2 things scheduled and a follow-up for regular stuff. And then I'm going to keep her informed of everything that goes on with general surgery, so I can tell her what's going on with that, and then also with palliative care. Okay, So that's the first appointment. And so I left there, went downstairs because they have this great place that I can work. So I worked for about an hour, answered all the emails and got people stuff that I needed to get to them and whatnot. And then I had to leave. I had to drive 45 minutes to the specialized pharmacy that is like North Dallas, and because they could actually find my medication that I'm supposed to start today, which is the stuff I'm supposed to start for the hyperadrenergic POTS. So I had an appointment to talk to them and make sure that all was good and whatnot, and so I did that. Then I had to drive 45 minutes back, and then I had an appointment with, I had a dual appointment with neurology. So normally we do Botox first and then a follow-up. This way was different. We decided to do a follow-up and then we did the Botox. So the follow-up, we talked about like all the things, like how are my headaches, how many migraines did I have in the last 3 months, which was 48. That's a lot. That's like a lot of migraines. And I had headaches every other day. And so we talked about the port and hoping that, because I do a little bit better with headaches once I have fluids in. So we're hoping that more consistent fluids will really help the headaches. And so we decided to still do the Botox. And then we also decided that we're going to try this new kind of pain medication for migraines. And it's a once a month shot that I can do myself, which is super easy. And so I have to work with my pharmacy and then whatever pharmaceutical company we're actually getting it from, because I'm out of pharmaceutical coverage for the rest of the year, so everything is out of pocket. And so it's, I don't know how much it's gonna help me save me at this point. We'll see. And okay, so we talked about all of that, and then I had to move to another room and we got all set up for the Botox. And there was 2 nurses that were setting it up. I think one was doing it and one was teaching her how to do it. They were really nice. And so I have to go to like a patient table, whatever, and so I laid down on my back because she starts with like all of these, and then she does them in my hairline, and then she does it around my ear and around my ear. And I have my hair totally up like when I started, and then I got to the table and I have to take it out because she has to, for the next set, she has to have the back of my head available and all that. And all of them were like, oh my gosh, you have the longest hair we've ever seen. And it was really funny. And one of them just like, she just kept staring, and she was like, oh my gosh, she's like, is that like the hardest thing to ever maintain? And I was like, oh no, it's like ridiculously easy to maintain. So we were just talking about hairstyles and stuff, and they were really sweet. And then, so we did a little Botox, and I'm talking to my neurologist, and I told her, I said, so this is the 4th time we've done Botox, and I said, I have tried every single time to count what number shot I'm on so I have an idea like how many are left. And she was like, oh, that's really smart. And I was like, not really. I said, ugh. I said, because I've never done it successfully, and I didn't do it successfully yesterday either. I get like halfway through and it's just like, it's too many sticks and my body is overstimulated and my mind just like shuts down to try to get away from it. The worst ones are the ones that are like right here, and then the ones that are in my shoulders. Oh, they just hurt so bad. So got done with Botox. She gave me all the things about the shots, the monthly shots. And then so I left there, and then I had to race over to endocrinology. So I had my 5th appointment was endocrinology, and they downloaded like all of this stuff from my Dexcom unit so they could see like the days and days and days worth of what my sugar was doing, and so we could actually go over it and figure out when it's totally crashing. It almost like it totally coincides with when my GI tract shuts down and I'm not eating for 24 hours. And so we talked about some other things that I could maybe do, like higher calorie or higher sugar content items like frosting and things, which totally makes me want to vomit just talking about it. But maybe it would help like level it out. So I don't know. She gave me a few other ideas. Oh my gosh, she gave me peanut butter ice pop. She's like, literally put peanut butter like in ice cube trays and shove sticks in there, freeze it, and she was like, then you can like lick on it like it's a popsicle, but it's peanut butter, and so I'm getting more sugar out of it. Well, and fat and protein and all the things that should help my sugar stay a little bit more level. So she's just a wealth of ideas. So we were talking about all the things, and she'd asked about a port, and we were talking about kind of like where things are, and she goes, you know, whenever you have a port put in, she's like, we may have IV options for you of things that I can actually put through my port, as opposed to having to completely rely on my GI tract to get my sugar up, especially when my GI tract shuts down and I have to stop feeds and food and all of that. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I never even thought of that. And she was like, because I have an appointment with my nurse practitioner, not my full endocrinologist, and I love my nurse practitioner, she's awesome. And she was like, I only do outpatient stuff. She was like my head endocrinologist does the inpatient stuff. And she was like, but I'll talk to her, like, and as soon as you have a port, like, we'll figure out if there's other options for you. So anyway, she was super ridiculously awesome. And then it took me like an hour and a half to get home because it was right in the middle of traffic time, and I'd had quite enough yesterday, which is why I waited until today after I slept a little bit to fill you guys in. So, oh my gosh, keep on keeping on. It's a lot of stuff to keep straight, and I'm going to try my new medication today for the hyperadrenergic POTS, and I will cross my fingers that everything is good. So, I love you guys. Bye!